Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome to this session. I hope I am audible, right? Okay. So we'll just wait for some seconds, then we'll start. Hi Rakesh. Yeah, you are audible properly. Yeah, I can see you, Rakesh. So if anyone has no problem, they can enable their video so that we can take some screenshots so that we can share in social. I mean in LinkedIn so that more people can join in the community. Okay. Let me share my screen. I hope you all are able to see my screen, right? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, good to see new faces. Sanmukh and Virendra, Rachit, yeah. Okay. Okay, so it's already 130 people are still joining. Let me add them also. Okay, so Rakesh, over to you. You can start so that we can go ahead. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Rakesh, for a great introduction of mine. Already people are know me, but still, I always happy when someone introduce myself. But anyway, so Rakesh, I just want to tell you, if someone waiting in the lobby, you can keep adding them. If I will miss them, okay. So let us start. So today I have planned, and we have planned rather, to discuss some important stops that are part of Power Platform. And in the Power Platform we have many things, right? Recently we have seen that Microsoft has released Web 2 2021, and I have already created some videos, what are the new features are upcoming, and so also we will also coming to that session in near future. But I always love to share this concept, this new concept, Power Platform concept, to my community, so that they can also learn it. So today we have planned to discuss about how we can call Power Portal how we can call Power Automate from Power Portal. Already we know that in Power Portal we have list controls, then we have form controls to display some data. But what if we don't want to use that existing list and form controls? We just use some custom components, custom HXML, and we call to a Power Automate by sending a HTTP request. Okay, so let us go through the agenda of today in short time. So first we will discuss about the concept of JSON, because JSON is something which is not a new concept, but people whether they are fresher or experienced, if they don't know JSON, they are getting scared. Okay, so we will just discuss in a bit about JSON. Then we will discuss about HTTP request and response. Then how we can create Power Portal HTTP request we will also discuss. Then we will build the Power Automate HTTP trigger, so that we can call that HTTP trigger Power Automate from Power Portal web page. And also we will see how we can send HTTP request from Power Portal to Power Automate, and so also at the same time we will capture responses from the Power Automate. And the bonus part is how we can edit our portal web pages in Visual Studio Code. It is many people, last time I have done that session where we have discussed how we can perform CRUD operation using Power Portal, right? In Dynamics 365 or Microsoft Dataverse entities or tables CRUD operation from Power Portal. We have discussed that in details. But today we will discuss how we can edit that web templates or web pages using Visual Studio Code, right? Because editing web templates or page templates or web pages using this given Power Portal editor is very it's not that much flexible. So it is better to use VS Code, Visual Studio Code, so that we can work on. Okay, so let us start. So first thing is JSON concept. If you know about JSON, that is well and good, but those who don't know about JSON, it is just a object notation, right? JSON means JavaScript object notation. This is a interpretation of a specific data. Here you can see we are interpreting orders. Okay, and orders has many properties like order number, date, tracking number, customer ID, and the customer information also. The customer is also a property of order, because this order raised by this customer. But to represent customer's information, we have to add another square bracket, and inside that square bracket we have to add other properties of that customer itself. So it's kind of nested format of the JSON, right? So like that, any data item, whether it is an account, whether it is a contact, whether it is an opportunity, whatever data item you can think of, that we can represent in a JSON format. Okay, so first you have to start curly braces, then you have to give the property name and the property value. If it is an array type, I have taken this array type. If you want to pass JSON object as an array, then you have to use square bracket. Inside that you have to pass different line items, and in that line items you have to pass different types of orders. For example, specific to account, I can tell you, in this you can see I am creating an account property, and I am passing one account record in this first parameter. I can also add another account. Let me copy this. I can also copy this and paste here in the next line, right? It's not editable anyway. I will use Visual Studio to show that. But the point here is JSON is just a format of object or a data that is used to interchange from one website to another. Let's say I want to fetch some data from an external website using some web API. Then if I can send this JSON object as a request object, and I can call that web API, then the third party website can return me as a response JSON object. Okay, so don't think that JSON is something big or there is no rocket science here in this JSON. This is just a representation of a JavaScript object with property and values. That's it. Okay. Now what next? Next is what is HTTP request, right? HTTP request is those requests that is sent from a client machine to a server to fetch some data, right? To get some resource. It may be you are getting some record, you are reading some records, or you are creating some records using some third-party web API. Like that, you can send an HTTP request, and in that HTTP request, you have to pass your data items. That data items is nothing but a JSON object that is sent to your server. Here you are in client side, and you are sending to the server through a URL. Every web API, whenever you want to call it through HTTP request, there should be a URL, and that URL should be used to send your request data, and that request data is processed by the server, and the server process your request object, then it returns the response. Okay, so HTTP request response is not is a protocol by which we can send a request to a server to get some data or resource. Simple. Okay, now how this HTTP request response can be created using Power Automate, how JSON object can be used in Power Automate, we will see, right? Now, so Power Portal HTTP request. So if we have seen that we have JSON concept, we have HTTP request and response. Does Power Portal support it? First we have to think that yes, Power Portal supports to call an external web API by passing XML HTTP object. XML HTTP request object is used to send a set of requests with some object JSON object in that request, so that we can get a response. So you can think of, it's not about Power Portal. You can use XML HTTP request in any third-party website, and you can call Power Automate, right? So it's not about Power Portal, but in Power Portal it is not required to do more authentication methods. But if you call Power Automate from an external website which is not deployed in your environment, that requires some token IDs and application IDs that requires Azure registration. Okay, now that is not our current session's scope. Okay, now the next is how to build the Power Automate. So first we have to create a trigger, and the trigger is called as when a HTTP request is received. This trigger identifies that is there a request received from a third-party server or third-party client. Yes, if the portal or some website sends a request, HTTP request to a Power Automate, then the Power Automate trigger called as when a HTTP request is received will identify yes, the request is received, and what needs to be done with that request, then we have to add your steps. Here we can add some variables to capture the request items. Here you can apply for its loops. If you have multiple row items present in that JSON object, then you can use response response action step, which is a part of request object only, to respond to the third party application who called or who triggered this flow. Okay, I will show you the demo, but this is the fact. And next we will also discuss how we can edit our portals using Visual Studio Code. Okay, there is already a common language interface Microsoft Power Apps CLI is introduced by Microsoft. By using some command lines, we can download our portal content to our local machine, and we can change in Visual Studio with a very flexible editor. Then we can upload our portal content back to our environment, and then we can clear the cache to see that changes in action in browser. Okay, so we will see all of this. So let us start with the demo because theory is enough. Okay, so let us go here. Let me go to the Power Automate. So this is my Power Automate, right? I have created a Power Automate called as accept from portal HTTP, and the first action is I have taken when a HTTP request received, right? When you create this HTTP request, trigger at the initial stage in Power Automate, this URL will remain blank, because this URL will not be generated until unless you save this Power Automate, right? If you go and create another Power Automate, let me show you. Let me go to duplicate. So here, let me choose the correct environment and create a new flow. So you have to first create a new flow using this automated cloud flow. Click on skip. Once you skip, you have to give a name, right? Let's say capture HTTP request from portal, right? Now here you have to choose the trigger. The trigger for my case for this demo is when a HTTP request is received. Just search request. As soon as you search request, you will see when an HTTP request received is available. Click on this. Can you see that whenever I have defined this request trigger, it is blank. The URL is blank. I have already told you, if you are connecting to a HTTP server for HTTP request processing, a URL should be generated. But see, right now there is no URL. When it will be generated? Whenever you will save it. Now, the next thing for this HTTP trigger is you have to add a request body JSON schema. Why it is required? Because Power Automate should understand in which format you are sending data, because the format are many kinds: JSON object, JavaScript object, a text object, right? Now you have to pass a JSON schema here so that the Power Automate will understand, yes, this is the request. So to define a JSON schema, it is difficult. That's why we always use this option, use sample payload to generate schema. Click on this. Now once you click this, it is accepting a payload. Payload means the sample request object. Here I have already created a sample request object, this one, right? Now copy this and I will go here and paste here. Can you see that? So what does it mean? It means that whenever I will pass an HTTP request to Power Automate, my JSON object should be in this format: account, then square bracket. Why I have used square bracket? Because I want to add multiple accounts, so that it will create or update multiple accounts using loops. Okay, and in the second parameter I want to pass the account name, and the first parameter I want to pass account ID, because I want to update some account informations, right? So once I have added this JSON object, I will click done. As soon as you click done, the schema will automatically generated for you, right? Now next, my trigger is completed. Now I will go here and take a variable. I will change this. So whatever request received in this trigger, I want to parse that request body to a JSON object. So I will use parse JSON. This is a step which is used. This is the action which is used to convert a raw request body of HTTP call to a JavaScript object. So I want to parse the JSON. So click on the content. Here you will find all the steps which are part of your HTTP request. I want to pass body. Okay, whatever body that is passed in the request object, I want to parse this. So what is the format? What is the schema? I can use the schema here. Oh, okay, parse JSON is not required because I am sending the JSON object only. Okay, whenever there is different object is passed where there is no JSON, you have to parse it. Otherwise, you can directly use it. So when the HTTP request is updated or received, what step I want to do? I want to update Dynamics 365 or Microsoft Dataverse account record updation. So I will search Dataverse. Okay, so this is the Dataverse connector. Connector is the Dataverse. I will select Dataverse. What action I want to perform? I want to perform update row. So my requirement is whenever someone wants to update a account record from portal, this Power Automate will trigger and it will update the account record. So I will choose the table to which I want to update. I want to update account. Okay. Now to update a specific row, it requires to pass the table ID or entity ID. Where is that entity ID? This entity ID is part of the request object, because I am sending the account ID in the request object through JSON. So I will select the account ID. Can you see that whenever I have assigned that account ID to this update row, automatically apply for its loop is added. Why? Because I have declared this JSON object to pass multiple accounts. That's why automatically the system or Power Automate identifies, because we are passing multiple account records, so it requires a for each loop or apply to each loop. So it will iterate one by one request, and it will take the account ID from that record, from that request, and it will try to update accounts record, account entity or table. So what it needs to be updated? I want to update account name. So click on the account name and select name. This is the property of the request object, HTTP request object I am passing from portal. So click on this name. Now it is done. Now once it is done, I want to send a response to the Power Portal. So collapse this, add another step called as response. Right? Response. Response is also a part of HTTP request. Click on the response. You have to pass the information to your Power Portal, right? The system who called this Power Automate. So I can give here accounts updated, right? This is the message I want to capture in Power Portal. Now let me save it. As soon as you save, the URL will generate for you. Now it is blank, but it will generate for you in a short while. Can you see that? It is generated. Now this URL is our HTTP request URL. So using this URL, I can send a request to update my account from Power Portal. Okay. So my Power Automate is created successfully. Now I will go back to the Power Portal to create some page so that we can display some data and send a update HTTP request. Okay. So let me close this. I have already done here the same thing. Right. I am sending data updated response. Now let me go back to the portal first there. So this is my portal. Okay. So this is my portal. I can go here to my app. I have opened my Power Portal in Power Portal Studio. This is my Power Portal Studio, and I am displaying account data as a table. I have not taken any list control. I have just used fetch XML to display data. So how the code is written here? Go ahead, check here. This is my web template. In the web template, I have written something called as fetch XML. I have used a fetch XML here. This fetch XML reads all account information from my Dataverse environment. I am reading name, account ID, primary contact created on, and some order descending by account name. And this fetch XML returns some data, right? And I have used a for loop here, and I am in that for loop I am creating a table control. In my last session also I have told you that how I can display fetch XML in a table through for loop using liquid programming, right? So we have used some liquid programming here using for loop, and this ACC is the fetch XML variable that will hold all the return tables which are part of this fetch XML, and this data will be displayed through for loop in different cell. So this is first TD, this is second TD, third TD, and fourth TD, right? So how it looks like, let us see. Let me go here and run this. Just click on browse website. Once I browse website, this table is rendered. I have already taken this update action, update button in every row, so that I can see this update button for every row of the table. Okay, so let us see how it looks like. So it is trying to load. Can you see that these are all account data, and these data are retrieved as because of the fetch XML I have used, and I have displayed in a tabular form. Okay, this is account 1, account 2, right? This is the ID, account ID, and this is the created on of the account, and this is the button I have placed. My requirement is whenever someone click update and change something here, when someone click update, this specific account should be updated in my account area. This is my account. All accounts are available here. My requirement is the specific account should be updated in Microsoft Dataverse, right? So guys, can you mute? If anyone unmute, can you mute? Let me mute. Okay, so I have done that. So here, as I am displaying some accounts here, now how to update that? That means to update, to achieve that functionality, that whenever someone clicks update button, it should send a call to the Power Automate to update the specific account. We have to write some script here, right? So go here in the web template. Let us see what I have done. This is the update button. In the update button, I am calling a JavaScript method called as update record, right? And this update record is taking account ID as a parameter, because if I will not pass the account ID to the Power Automate, to which record it will update? So this update record JavaScript function requires a account ID, and using this liquid tag, I can pass the specific rows account ID to this function. Let me go down straight to this function to see how we have written. Here I am declaring a function update record, and I am passing the ID. This ID stores the account ID that needs to be updated. I have taken a section here to display the status of the update. If you go here, you can check this one. This one I have taken a division here to display what is the status of the update. Whenever you click update button, it calls Power Automate, and Power Automate do the action, and once the Power Automate sends a response to the Power Automate, what is the response that I needs to display here, right? That's why I have taken a division here with a ID MSG. Whenever someone clicks update, immediately I am mentioning the division inner HTML as updating, so that someone can wait that yeah, it is updating. I should not go somewhere. We have to wait the account to be updated, right? So this is like progress bar. So this inner HTML will display updating. Then I have created a JSON object. Can you see that? Variable account update equal to curly braces account, then colon, square bracket, then I am passing the property value, and name property, then value, right? Now the point here is what is the point? If you want to, you can also use this. So this account ID is passed as a parameter, right? But how you can read the account name? This account name is used retrieved using document.getElementById, which is a JavaScript function, to read a specific input controls value, right? I have to pass the input control ID. What is the ID? This is this account ID is assigned as a ID of this name field. Can you see that? This is my name field. This one. Sorry, not this one. This one. Can you see that this input text controls ID is dynamic? I have not given static ID. That's why this is the best part, that whenever you want to manipulate with multiple rows of a table, use some dynamic ID so that you can fetch the value of that control specifically. So I have used the same ID here and used a object XML HTTP request This is the same way we call an HTTP request using JavaScript, and in the URL I have passed the same URL. This is the URL that you have copied from your Power Automate. This is the URL, right? So this URL is the unique URL that accepts a HTTP request, right? So now I will go here and check other thing. What is the verb I am using? I am posting this, and I am passing the URL, and here I am capturing the response of the Power Automate. If the request or if the HTTP response is 200 or it is success, then I want to capture the response from the Power Automate using this response object, and I am displaying that response object inside this message, right? It looks very simple how to call a Power Automate just using this URL, right? And whatever I have done in that Power Automate, that will work in background. Now this is my web template, right? And to use this web template, I have used a page template, and that page template is called by a web page. In Power Portal, we have web page, web template, and page template concept, right? If you go to the page template, I am calling that web template from the page template. So this is page template. So if you go to my page template, you can see this is my page template, which is pointing to this page web template that I have just edited. And if you go to the web page, you can see my web page is pointing to the JSON PA page template, because the hierarchy is like web page calls a page template and page template calls a web template. So here you can see the page template is called. Now I can browse this web page, right? Now I will go to the Power Apps portal, and I can click on sync configuration. Anything you change in Power Portal management model driven app, you have to come here and click on sync configuration. Otherwise it will not synchronize the configurations that you have made in model driven app inside this Power Portal Studio, and also it will not clear the cache. So once it is done, you have to click on browse website to see if my changes are working fine or not, right? So let us click on browse website. I want to test something. Now it is trying to load, right? So it is loaded. Now I want to test. Can you see that the fetch displays all value, right? I will go to the account and check one account. This account name is adatum11. I want to change something to, let's say, Microsoft account. So I will go here, I will go to the portal page. This is my page. I want to change this. Let's say a Microsoft account. Why I have used a? Because it will display at the initial record of the view, so that it will be easy to find out. Here I am displaying the message. As soon as you click update, it will display as updating. After some time it will show the correct result. Let me just check this one. I will click update. Click on update. Can you see that it is turned to updating? Now after a short while it will display as updated. Can you see that it is updated? Now I can go here and try to refresh this. Can you see that it is changed to a Microsoft account? Now I can go here and check if this is correctly run or not. Can you see that within before 20 seconds it runs successfully? I can click here and I can see, yes, it is successfully. It is received this request, JSON request. Also it is going through apply for each loop and assign the row ID and the table name, and also it is returning the response data updated, right? So this is how you can call a Power Automate from a Power Portal. Okay. Now you can also change your table for other field updates. I have just displayed how account name is operated. You can have multiple fields also, right? So the simple thing is create your Power Automate application using HTTP request trigger and HTTP response. Then you have to generate the URL. Then you have to write something in your web template to call that Power Automate using URL, right? Let me again go back and open that, right? So here I am calling the Power Automate, just the URL and the JSON object. This two is important. Otherwise, this XML HTTP request is a generic thing that we use in JavaScript, right? To call HTTP request, HTTP servers. So this is as simple as that, right? But if you want to capture the response, let's say here I have just displayed. If you go here, can you see that it is just displayed updated, but it is not displaying the response that is received from Power Automate, right? So to do that, what you have to do, you have to change your inner HTML. I have just given hard coded. I can give this result, right? So once you give this result to this inner HTML, whatever response that is received from Power Automate, that will display here in this section. Okay, so this is all about how we can call simply a Power Automate flow from Power Portal. Now in the second phase, we will discuss how we can edit these things using Visual Studio Code, because working in this area sometimes become clumsy. It's not that much flexible because there is no IntelliSense, right? But Microsoft already introduced Power Apps CLI commands, so that we can download all the portal content to Visual Studio Code, and we can edit, then we can change, then we can upload. That's it, right? So let us see how it can be done. Now I will go to Visual Studio. This is my Visual Studio Code, right? This is the version 1.58. Before working with this CLI, we have to install Power Apps CLI. If you go here and search Power Apps CLI, you have to install the Power Apps CLI in your machine before using that, because the commands that we are going to use is a part of CLI, right? Power Apps CLI. So you can go here, you have to download and install the latest version. Can you see that it is trying to install something? I have already installed, but you have to install in your machine. Anyway, this is not scope. So once you install this, you have to go to your Visual Studio Code, and there is already some available commands that you can use. These are the commands that you can use to interact with your portal from Visual Studio Code. Okay, let us go here and go to terminal and create new terminal. This is how we work with Visual Studio Code to edit your Power Portal. Now here you can see it is asking to give some commands. The first command is PAC auth create -u, right? Now I can copy this, I can paste here. I have pasted here. Now this command requires to provide your Dynamics 365 URL. So I will go to my Dynamics and copy my URL. This is my base URL. I will copy this, go there and put it here. Once I have given this, I can click on enter. What it will do, this PAC auth create command will ask me to provide my credential to log in Dynamics or to log in Microsoft Dataverse, right? Now I can choose my credential. This is my credential. I have to give my password, right? Click on sign in. Once we sign in, now it will connect successfully. It will give the response here. Okay, now can you see that authentication successfully created, validating connection, connected to, it's trying to connect, right? Right, now it will display all the CDS environment in here, right? Now the next thing is I want to, it is connected, right? Authentication successfully created. Now the next thing is I have to download, I have to see what are the portals that has been installed in this environment. For that we have a syntax, we have a command here, PA portal list. No, not this one. PAC, just delete this. PA portal list. Let me check again. PA portal. So these are the CLI commands. Then list. If you click this, it will give you all the list of portals that is part of your environment. Can you see that I have only one portal? That's why it is displaying. This website ID is important, okay, because this website ID, which is nothing but the custom portal ID, is required to download all the contents which are part of your portal. Now copy this, I have copied. Now go to the command. This PA portal download is used to fetch or to download the content of your portal. And next you have to define a local path where you want to store your Power Portal, right? Now I can define, let's say, C drive, PAC-portals, downloads, and you have to pass the ID. My ID is this. So what is this ID? This ID is nothing but the Power Portal ID that has been retrieved here. Now I will just put this. Can you see that PAC portal download? I have given a path, and in the ID I have passed my portal ID. Now it is trying to fetch all the data that are part of my Power Portal. It is trying to download everything that are part of my portal, right? So it's keep downloading. So many resources are there. So you have to wait till all the resources are downloaded. So it will download all forms, all list, everything which are part of, all CSS, everything which are part of your Power Portal. Yeah. Oh, okay, sorry. I think it is, is it okay now? Yeah, okay. By mistakenly it was off. Okay. Yeah. Now the portal is downloaded successfully. So many forms downloaded which are part of my portal. Now my duty is to open that folder in Visual Studio Code, because these are all downloaded in my local machine, right? Now I can go here, click on File and click on Open Folder. I will navigate to the folder that I have chosen to download my portal. So I have chosen C drive, then PAC portal, then download, then custom portal. Here you will find all the files, right? Now I can click on this custom portal, click on select. As soon as you select, it will open all the files which are part of my. So click, if it will display, click on trust. Yes, I trust. Can you see that all folders and files which are part of your Power Portal will display here. If you want to see if my web template that I have just edited is available here or not, I can check that. I can click on web template and I can click my web template name is JSON PA, right? So this is my JSON PA. Click on the source, I can see my code here. Now I can I am very flexible to edit this. there is another thing you can do here. Can you see that there is a visible button here at the top right corner? You can also preview your content, HTML content here by clicking this. Can you see that it is displaying the the template, how it look like, how it will look like whenever it will render. So this is another great addition, so that you can check the preview of your page here in Visual Studio Code, so that you can change anything, right? Let's say you want to change the color, you can also change the color, right? You want to change this black background, then you can change also here. Okay, you can change here. Let's say I want to make it red color, for example, and I want to preview. So instead of going to the Power Portal every time, I can check it, check the preview here by using this visibility preview option for every web template or web page. Then I can do whatever I want. Let's say change something. Okay, I will go here. Let me type down here account records from data. Okay, now I have changed this. You can see here you can also see the IntelliSense. Okay, let's say inside that, if you write something like curly braces and give percentage to write your liquid code, it will also give you the option. Okay, let's say type entity. Can you see that entity form, editable snippet, these are part of your liquid code. Okay, so if you want to use, let's say include. So the point here is you can use the IntelliSense facility in your in your Visual Studio Code. Anyway, so let me go here. Now you understand how to preview and how to use IntelliSense and how to edit your web template or web page. Any resource you can update here. These are all part of your portal. Once you edit this, how to update that in portal? That is another thing, right? Now click on save. If you click on save, what it will do, once it is saved, you have to go to your terminal. Go to terminal, click on new terminal. You want to upload that in Power Portal, right? So what you have to do, go here. Sorry, you have to use another command like PA Portal upload. Now copy this and paste here. PA Portal upload, give the same path you have downloaded. Now it will trying to connect and upload it. Can you see that it is connected and it is uploaded and portal upload successful? Can you see that it only uploads the file that is changed? Although I have many forms here, many resources, it only uploads that is changed. That is a good thing, right? So once it is updated, I can go here to check. I will go here and go to my Power Portal to check if that is updated or not. So this is my Power Portal Studio. I can click on sync configuration, so that it will synchronize all the configurations that has been updated. Can you see that this is displaying red color and this is displaying accounts record from Microsoft Dataverse. If you will browse it, it will display my changes. Now we have successfully downloaded our custom portal to Visual Studio Code and successfully updated or changed that web template or resource in Visual Studio with preview mode, and we have uploaded. Now I am sure you will not go to Power Portal to edit anything. You always use this because this is very flexible to work on, right? Also, it is not required to again save again and again to do some small changes. Do your work. Once it is finished, click the preview button and click on publish or use this terminal command to upload that. Okay, so I think today we have done our two things. One is how to design the JSON object, how to design the Power Automate, how to call that Power Automate from Power Portal, and how to use Visual Studio Code to edit portals. Okay, so I don't have anything much to discuss today. And do you have any question right now? Any specific question to ask? Hi Rajit, yeah. Hi Rajit, yes. Yeah. Number of users are high, then we have to use asynchronous methods, because if we there is a method called as asynchronous calls that is configured in Power Automate, right? If you go here in the Power Automate, you can see here the call can be asynchronous, right? If you go to this settings, let me go to settings, you will find there is a point called as, is that trigger condition. So the point here is we have to enable the asynchronous method so that it will not let users to hang on for some request, rather they will work on different, and there is no other best practices right now, but Microsoft may introduce some practices here. Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you so much, and thank you guys. So if you have any question, you can ask me in WhatsApp or LinkedIn, whatever. You already know me in WhatsApp or in LinkedIn, you can chat with me. And in next Saturday I am planning another session with some different topics on this Power Platform. I hope that will also be helpful. Okay, thank you, and see you next time. Okay, yeah, cheers, bye. Yeah, thank you Rakesh, thank you everyone, bye. Yeah, bye.